Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 97 for May 3rd, 2023. I am Nemesis, and I am joined by Alcatraz.
Hello.
Yeah, so one thing of news that kind of actually happened after the initial recording, so I'm kind of adding it in now, which is, the Love Live School Idol Festival All-Stars game just announced that's shutting down at the end of June. So, they just gave notification, and, they're doing the whole, here's a hyper... gifts, I guess, for all the stuff, all your usual earnings are going to be 5 times as much or whatever, that sort of thing. So it's ending. It looks like they're going to, once again, it's going to integrate into School Idol Festival 2 and all that stuff, which it's not surprising this is happening considering it's well known at this point that the revenue stream has really dried up on that game and for many reasons. So it's a little unfortunate, but that's unfortunately how it is. I guess this game's gone. Or going to be gone pretty soon. New season's underway. Kazuna Eye anime apparently is awful.
And hawking NFTs.
Which is why it's awful. I've been keeping up with Witch from Mercury because,
I haven't started the news.
Yeah, I also ordered the Miorine fig arts that popped up, so I ordered it. So I can have her and Suletta together. Because I have that Suletta's fig arts on order too.
Yeah.
Ruby Volume 9 finished. That's kind of an anime.
Yeah, that one's a weird one.
We talked about it before. Volume 9 finished. Don't know if there's going to be more because, the whole thing with WB. They also released a Ruby Justice League crossover movie. Apparently it's actually all right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see if so they're willing to they can get budget for another season or two because apparently they're plotting out for 12 volumes, and they're just finished 9. It'd be suck if they got this close to the end and weren't able to finish.
Yeah.
Beyond that, nothing really new there. I haven't watched anything else new yet because I was kind of waiting on this episode because we watched a handful of anime from this season. Because yes, once again it is a sampler of new anime for spring 2023. Once again, 4 of them picked or drawn, and then picked one to replace because the one we drew we weren't feeling, and one I really want to watch. And again, like I said, it's random. It's totally random, so we don't really know what we're going to get, and that's the reason we kind of have the one pick. So we at least have one thing we're looking forward to, because I remember there was a couple times where we got 4 mediocre and bad anime.
Yeah, and it's just not fun for us at all.
Yeah, it's not fun for everyone because we're struggling. We even want to watch it. We're struggling to talk about it. It's not a fun time.
You had to at least make it worthwhile in some way to record.
Yeah. So. Anyways, we get random number generator and all that stuff, so it's all random. So, and of course, the first 3 episodes, and for once, we're actually fairly close, because a lot of them just had their 3 episode as of recording, so it's often when we do this, because of timing, they're already episode 5 or 6, and we're way behind, because of just how timing works out.
Right, this one we're not too bad.
Really we're pretty on point this time, So anyway. So first one, and this was the big surprise draw because, right off the bat, the first one, we got Oshinoko, which is, the big pushed anime this season. Because every season, there's at least one anime that's being heavily advertised, and this is the one that everyone's talking about, too. And part of it was also, it started off with a premiere movie, essentially, as the first episode. Because, it's the first episode's almost an hour and a half long.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts how long it is.
So it's we're essentially, we watched 5 episodes, or actually closer to 6 episodes, theoretically, just because of how long the premiere is. It's weird. It is. So that's one of the things, a lot to talk about here, just because of that. Because essentially the premiere, it's because we couldn't just stop at the premiere, because the premiere is kind of different from the rest of the series, because the premiere is essentially, because it's based on a manga, is a prequel to everything else.
Right.
So you can't just watch the premiere and go, oh, well, now we know what the anime is about. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
That just sets things up.
Yeah, it's just an hour and a half of setup.
Yeah, and then the series itself starts with a time jump and everything. So it starts off with a doctor and whatnot in a hospital, basically being a super huge Idol fan. Being really weird about it, too, because Idol fans are weird. I know.
Idol fans are weird.
Yeah, a doctor named Goro Amamiya. He is a big Idol fan, mostly because there was a patient in the hospital, a young girl named Serena, and she, pretty clear. They didn't say what exactly, I don't think, but she had cancer. It's pretty obvious. And yeah, she was an Idol fan, and particularly of an idol named Ai Hoshino. And because of her, he became an Idol fan, although there's kind of this other, like a nurse or something, kept calling him out, being creepy about it. That's one of the things. He is kind of weird about it. A little bit, particularly because of the whole, she's 16, and then he kind of had to stop and think about whether or not he'd still be willing to marry her or something like that. It's like, even though she's 16. Anyway, that's the thing. He's pushed proselytizing about, idols. And then new patient who, it's a pregnancy thing, comes in. She's young, and then wait a minute, that's Ai Hoshino.
Yep.
Oh. It's because she was away for health reasons. And yeah, because she got pregnant. And, well, this one of her fans, this is the one who takes care of her, I guess, as a doctor.
Yep.
Anyway, turns out she's having twins and everything, and, keeping the father a secret, and their manager's there freaking out because this could ruin everything. And anyway, that's the thing. That's a scandal. Like a 16-year-old or so whatever idol gets pregnant.
Yep,
that's a big scandal.
That's a big scandal.
He has to keep it a secret. He does know who she is. She thought she might have, but no. She's he eventually tells her that he knows, and she's like, I guess he figured me out. At one point, he's outside, and someone in a hoodie kind of comes along. And, well, it turns out he's a little bit of a
stalker.
A demented stalker fan person of hers, and somehow he found out about her being in the hospital and pregnant, and he pushed him off a cliff, the doctor off a cliff, and he died. And before that, they're kind of establishing that weird thing where people talking about being reborn as this child of an idol or whatever, and
just being the child of an idol.
Yeah, being a child, and then surprise, he's reborn as the child of an idol. He's one of the twins. He is Aquamarine now.
Yep,
along with his sister Ruby. Anyway, he retains his memories, and, that's different.
Yep.
And so apparently, then we find out their sister there is also a reborn. She also retains memories, and she was also a fan of Ai, because she's actually Serena.
Yep.
Although they don't really know that about each other, but he heavily suspected, but then kind of bailed out, and then that was for a long time ago anyway. Anyway, there's also, let's see, at the time, there was also the Saito Ichigo was her manager. And his wife Miyako, who's railroaded into taking care of the babies. She just really didn't want to. She was actually gonna expose the scandal just to get out of this and get some money and marry, because she's all here gonna be a very handsome young rich man. And
yep, Aqua stopped that one though.
Yeah, Aqua and Ruby stopped that by pretending to be gods essentially.
Yeah, by getting her attention and talking in perfect language as babies.
They're little babies and they're talking perfect. Okay. So yes, they basically promise her that she'll get a handsome second husband and everything as long as she doesn't expose them.
Yep.
Expose everything. So she's like, all right, she just goes along with it. Also, it seems that would be a lot easier to take care of them because they won't just scream and cry at you.
Now that you know that they're not gonna be like actual babies.
Yeah. Another thing is, Ruby there is her fandom. They discovered each other about that because Ruby got on a smartphone and started harassing other fans for talking crap about her mom.
Yep.
And yeah, it's Ruby. Yeah, Ruby is the other thing that was weird. It was like Aquamarine being awkward about baby things like breastfeeding, and Ruby just relishes in it.
Yep.
Which is interesting. Anyway, she goes, I eventually goes back to being an idol, but they have to keep it secret and whatnot. And they kind of really get into some of the stuff, like being an idol is just a huge struggle. It's like it's really random chance where they not become popular, and you get low pay and long hours and so on and so forth, right? So they're also, it jumps forward a little bit. They're little kids, but they're like 4 or 5 years old, something like that at this point.
Something like that. They can actually, talk without people going, oh my God, you're talking.
Wow, you're really articulated, though, for a small child.
Yes.
Anyway, Aqua eventually kind of becomes an actor for a bit, just because the director kind of railroads him into it.
Yeah, they're at acting session for I, and it kind of happened.
Yeah, and he meets a child actor named Kana Arima, who he kind of does better than she does, and she doesn't take it well because she had a huge ego at the time. Anyway, we find out more about I too, because I is like, for a large chunk of the premiere, she's very kind of bubbly and airheaded and just kind of an idol.
Well, yeah, your standard.
We find out she's very cynical. She was an orphan. She's very cynical.
Well, at least she's not a British orphan this time.
Yeah, she was very cynical about things and just kind of was like just scouted off the street, and it's kind of this thing. She just wants what her name is. She wants love.
Yep.
And that's part of it was like what appealed to her. It's like the whole the whole pretending thing with the idols. You kind of pretend you're in love with your fans because part of the fantasy, right?
Right.
That's at least for some idols. And she kind of, there's a whole thing there because what happens is I get stabbed by
the same guy
who killed the doctor way back when. He came to her house, stabs her, and starts yelling at her about betraying him and how could you say you love me, blah blah blah, because he knows she has kids somehow. Yeah. And yeah, and then he freaks out and runs away and
commits suicide
eventually. But yeah, she's dying. He's bleeding out. And there's Aqua and Ruby are there with her, and yeah, there's a whole thing there because like she realized she's kind of thinking about how she's never told her kids she loves them because for her it's kind of this whole thing like it's become kind of cheap in a way, that phrase, and she wants to really mean it. Mm-hmm. And this is her last chance. She says it to them, and like it's like really oh boy,
yeah, that is a very emotional scene, and that's just the first episode.
Yeah, it's really it got me pretty good. Even now, right now, it's like, oof, yeah, that's a scene. And then she dies, and they're little kids, and like and then there's a whole thing where they kind of Aqua puts together something, which is she doesn't know that many people because she's in the industry. Not many people would know about the pregnancy and the kids and everything.
And very few would know where the hell she's living.
Yeah, all
that
that
was
stuff.
Even protected. How'd the stalker know?
Yeah, how did the stalker know? And he kind of realizes that the only person who could, because she was still in contact with the father apparently, the only person who would do this, who could and would do this, would be the father who told the stalker.
And I has never told anyone who the father is.
Yeah.
Not even the manager.
So Aqua has a quest now, which is find his dad and
kill him
and basically get revenge for the death of I.
Yep.
It's weird. He has a whole complicated thing. Well, he sometimes refers to her as just I and not, or his mom, which it's a whole, because again, retaining memories, that can be a whole weird thing.
That can be a thing.
And that's the thing. And then when we jump to this, at the very end, they're now teenagers, and that's the rest of the series, I'm guessing, is them as teenagers.
Yep, living their life, progressing amongst their particular goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ruby wants to be an idol, just like Mom. Aqua does not like that idea. He at first he's trying to do everything he can to stamp it out.
Yep.
Without her knowing that he's doing that. Aqua is working in film with that director that he was railroaded into, but he's not acting anymore because he felt like he wasn't really that good anyway. And part of it was the whole thing was he was a young kid who acted like an adult and was creepy, so that was the reason. And then actually, once you take that away, it's kind of, he's just mediocre. But he's kind of working with the director still, and they wind up going to the same high school, Yoto High School, which also has a specialized performing arts program, which is the reason why Ruby's there, and he's there to protect his sister because he's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on and so forth. And also the Ichigo, the manager, who's very much a panicky guy, kind of bailed on the whole thing and left his, I think, ex-wife now? I'm not sure. I don't think they've gotten into that.
Yeah, I don't.
They say Miyako is now in charge.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're still married or if he just they kind of. It's one of those things where a translation can be easily.
Yeah, sometimes that can be a thing. But yeah, I died. The idol group broke up because it couldn't continue without her. That put the production, Strawberry Productions is the name of the group that he was in charge, kind of put them into trouble. The manager bailed and left her in charge, and they shifted focus over to internet personalities.
Yeah. The other thing was, I remember the day that I stabbed was the day she was supposed to perform. They were supposed to perform, and they had to cancel because
You can't perform
And
without
then,
the
of course,
title
the
characters.
group she was part of, B. Komachi, had disbanded because, well, their most popular member died. And so on and so forth. Yeah, the whole thing just kind of, almost sunk everything. But I guess the agency's still going.
And just shifted
They just don't do idols anymore. Which,
do they?
Except until, they are able to get Ruby. Because Ruby almost got hired by an underground agency, which was kind of one of those, looks pretty sketchy.
Yep.
And so they just, they're just going to do an idol group again. And Aqua's going to be, or Ruby's going to be part of it. And, Aqua doesn't seem too thrilled, but also doesn't seem to care that much. It's weird. He kind of claims he didn't care that much, but it's like, you kind of clearly care, dude.
It was also kind of his idea. I get it, because this whole like if you're trying to protect your sister from all of that, it's best to keep them close.
Yeah.
And if you restart idol groups within Strawberry Productions, at least she's not going to get screwed over by the production company.
As of the third episode, Aqua is now acting again, although at least he claims his one role, but that's only because he found out because he met up again with Kana
at school,
who has matured a bit because, it's been, they're now teenagers, so she's not, 5-year-old jerk anymore. He winds up on this thing because she name dropped Masuya Kaburagi, who is apparently someone who's in Ai's private contact list. Like very private, as in it's her third secret phone that he had eventually had to guess through the password for.
Over 45,000 attempts.
Yeah. Man, good thing it wasn't one of those newer phones because of every single attempt would tack on more time.
It'll put, you miss it a handful of times and it permanently locks the phone.
Yeah. But in a way, it was a potential lead. It's someone he's never met and someone that I knew and was in close contact with, and he's there to get his DNA to see if he is his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't, and at this point we haven't seen the results yet because it kind of ended at a certain point. Yes.
Yep. Quite the intro.
I will say this. The first episode, the premiere episode in of itself is amazing. I think it kind of starts off a little rough with the doctor and everything. I feel a little rough. It's a little rough. The guy's kind of creepy, but it kind of, as you get past that, it works out a lot better. And generally, I think the premiere is really good. The worry would be, and then the rest of it is actually pretty good too. I'm actually intrigued by the rest of the 2 episodes, 2 and 3 are actually have been intriguing enough. I'm going to keep watching this for sure. I have no compulsion. I have no qualms about that. I'm going to keep watching this. But it is different. Once you get past the premiere, it is different.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. A lot of people were really blown away by the premiere. My worry is a lot of people are going to, after the premiere, going to go, "Oh, I'm not really interested anymore."
Yeah. I've already heard some mumblings about that.
I'm still in. I'm still interested enough in it that I want to keep watching it
because see where it goes.
I do actually like a lot of the characters. Oh, Aqua's kind of weird. I think Aqua's. I'm hoping Aqua improves because as it is, he's right now. The problem is Aqua is very cynical and kind of dead to the world in a sense. He's kind of. The death of Ai really got to him, and he doesn't. It's weird because he doesn't really want to admit that as much as it's weird. He's trying to be act like he's above it all when it's clear he's not.
Someone that you're heavily attached to, you literally held them in your arms as they bled to death. That's going to screw with you.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's pretty clear it's kind of broke him, and he doesn't want to admit that it broke him.
Yeah, it's probably that the latent adult part of him that's resisting that. God, imagine what would happen if it was an actual 5-year-old, though.
Yeah, boy, that'd be trauma.
Yeah, I think they're lucky that they're reincarnated, or that would be even worse.
Yeah. Ruby really is throwing herself into being just like Mom, which is an interesting thing. She is very also kind of bubbly and whatnot. And the other thing is, Aqua's kind of really smart. Ruby's not so much.
I mean, consider their earlier circumstances.
Yeah.
One was stuck in a hospital dying.
That's the thing. Serena, that's her thing. Her whole thing is she wants to live. Because for her previous life, she was stuck in a hospital with cancer. She couldn't do much. For her, just walking was just an arduous journey. So for her to be able to dance and sing and perform, it's a dream come true. It's a literal dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, she wants to live like the way she could not.
Yep.
So they kind of there's a bit of a tension there between the siblings about that.
Yep.
Because he had a fairly long already life. I'm not sure how old he was as a doctor, but definitely
he wasn't an
old
doctor, but yeah, he was definitely an adult.
And like, okay, maybe apparently according to this mid-20s, so he wasn't
really
yeah.
a very young doctor.
Yeah, he was kind of a bit younger. He had lived a bit longer, so he actually had already started a career and already had lived a big chunk of his life. She didn't really have that chance. So, and for him, it's like so he's a lot more cynical than she is. Weirdly enough, she's like, I am embracing this chance I have, and he's just all hell bent on I got to find the father so I can get revenge. And it's it's that weird thing is he's so obsessed with revenge that he's forgetting, like he's like shutting away like a lot of stuff about his mom. Like his mom was like, seeing that he might become an actor, was kind of excited about that. And like,
isn't that so stereotypical though? Getting so focused on revenge. It's
a
common
but
trope.
It works.
It does. It does. You get so hyper focused on, I gotta get revenge. You lose everything else.
Yeah, he's kind of forgetting. It's like he's so focused on revenge, he's forgetting why he wants revenge. And so that's an interesting thing there. Ruby is that's a whole thing with the idol stuff, which we'll see how that goes. I'm wondering because I thought they brought in that one girl briefly. I wonder if they're actually gonna, because they said something about a group, so I'm wondering if she's gonna
bring her back.
Yeah, as part of the group. There's characters I've seen the OP that have not actually appeared yet. Kana and Aqua, that's an interesting thing going on there. It's clear. That's another big thing is the entertainment industry is garbage.
Right, that's probably the biggest thing about this entire show so far is that it is a scathing take on the entertainment industry and the horrible things it does to the people who work in it.
Yeah, Kana is like, she kind of was, turned into a utter diva, but then that made it so when she got older, people stopped really giving her callbacks, and then like. Now she's having to more or less kind of rebuild her career again from scratch, and she's a much nicer person, but she's also being taken for a ride because she's a much nicer person.
Yep, and taking advantage of her.
Yeah, I guess she works for low pay, but we can use her name as leverage to get more eyes on our crappy teen romance drama that's not very good because you're doing it on the cheap and we're more focused on good-looking people.
It's just promotional material for the other
models.
Actors. Yeah,
they're models. They're first, not actors. They're doing the CW approach.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing about CW shows. They're well known for casting models and not actors because, well, it's for visual eye candy. You want eye candy, not necessarily good acting. Who cares about the acting? Everyone needs to look pretty. So it's very much scathing about it. It's all, and sometimes I'm not sure if it's ever there's any point it's going to be more hopeful or what, but as it is, there's a kind of a bit of a very critical look at the entertainment industry, how much it just could chew people up. Because at one point I was like talking about to Ruby's like, you retire before you're 30, you get very little pay, you often have to kind of sidestep into a completely different industry where it's like you don't have no skills whatsoever. And so it's like, are you sure? And there's on the top of that, there's no guarantee of success. Are you sure you want to become an idol?
Yep. Or then the talk with the one girl from the other agency that they were talking to, her takes on what was going on there, and then they mentioned like, this is a thing that does happen. It's like, And
yeah, their manager is just recruiting people, and he clearly he's in a relationship with one of the girls in the idol group and promoting her the hardest.
Yep.
And also talking about after all this stuff, like, they give me a pay, I get pay based on appearances, and, I have to work real hard to get people, the handshake events and whatnot, to get the photos because I get paid based on that. They take money on my pay for clothes and clothes and stuff. I have to pay for my own makeup and transportation. And I'm often lucky if it's like, I don't even often get 100,000 yen a month, which is less than $1,000.
Yeah.
So, it's a
lot of work, a lot of stress, and don't get much out of it, and you get treated like garbage.
Yeah, so that's a fun one.
Yep.
Anyway, which way, all these factors. I like the characters. Like on Aqua, Aqua, I think for me personally is the weakest character. I'm not Aqua. It's just kind of frustrating. That's my thing,
right?
Because he's just like he's so wrapped up in this revenge thing. He's just kind of lost sight of everything else. Ruby's kind of fun. I actually like Kana a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, she shows up as a kid and she's really annoying, but then when she shows up later, she's a lot better. Like, Holy crap.
Also, those weird, like, goofy bits of comedy. Like, there's the bit, like, in the premiere with them as babies doing the full idol glow stick routine.
In perfect sync.
And that became a viral video.
Yep.
And, or just bits where they're kind of getting, the good old, the insult arrows that you see sometimes in anime. Just her desperately trying to pull it out while bleeding.
Yep. The visual gags and such. I do really like the way...
Or, of course, the director and his mom.
Director and
his mom.
Oh, the director and the mom. The director and the mom. Because, yes.
Because he lives with his mother.
Yeah, the other director still lives with... That was a great scene. 40-something still lives with his parents. One thing with Aqua, I'm wondering... I see a potential direction that they might take him in. I have no idea if they will or not. But it's one of those possible ways they can make him better. With the way they ended the third episode, where he finishes the job, basically. He got what he came for, the DNA of the director. Producer, whoever he's looking for. But he stayed to finish the acting job. I'm wondering, it's like, he's a doctor. There may be a latent, like, why is he still helping? Latent desire to help people? Could be a thing. Yeah. It's also sort of he may not realize it, but it may also be what's driving him to protect his sister. Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that he did started to make a bond with her before either of them died, and even though he doesn't realize that yet, there may be it's like this subconscious latent thing due to his previous personality as a doctor. Yeah. And I think if they were to start, bringing that more in and start getting him that could be like, it's not really a redemption, but that sort of make him less dead inside. Yeah, less dead inside. They can use that as his pivot, as getting away from revenge and finding that to help people he wants to help, even though he's kind of jerk. One thing I did notice visually with Aqua primarily. So we haven't mentioned this at all yet. Their eyes. Mm-hmm. So their mom had 2 bright stars for pupils. Yep. Always. Each of the kids got 1. Yep. Each opposite eyes. Yep, opposite eyes. Aqua is in the right eye. Ruby's in the left eye. Thing I've noticed through the second and third episodes is that Aqua's star eye will sometimes turn black. Mm. I thought it may have just been a lighting thing, but it also happens in bright conditions. Yeah, it's definitely it's a visual cue that he's descending down into a deep pit. Yeah, when he's mentally in a dark place or he's trying to do something. So it's an interesting visual cue. He also got a good OP and ED, particularly OP. It's pretty good because of the idol stuff. Yeah. So, are you going to keep up with it or not? If you can, I might. There's definitely some interesting things, and I want to see where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. Because again, this is the big one of the season, so it's it is the big one. I think it was just, oh, cool, we actually drew it. I think out of all 4 of these, this is definitely one to try and keep up with. Right. Probably the one I'm going to try the most. Right. But we'll see. Right. So we'll go ahead and move on after that was a very long one because basically we watched so much. An hour and a half first episode. Yeah. Moving on to The Marginal Service, which is a very different thing. I think someone described it as this, which is basically, what if someone watched Men in Black and went, hey, let's turn that into an anime. So anyway, it's in the year 2020X, one of that sort of thing. We've got Brian Knight Raider. Anyway, he's an American who immigrated to Japan. He's part of a police force. He's chasing someone down. His partner got killed, and he got booted off the force because he's a loose cannon cop who doesn't play by the rules. And then he's recruited by a new UN agency called the Marginal Service, who are there to hunt down borderlanders. What the heck are borderlanders? Well, these small monster beings that could look like humans and are extremely hard to kill. They're cryptids. They're basically cryptids, yeah. And they kind of... No, they literally are cryptids. It's basically cryptids, and they... there's a whole thing there. They sometimes kind of break the rules, and you have to kind of go after them. And apparently, they fought aliens at one point 10 years ago because aliens showed up. They fought off the Roswell Greys. Yeah, some aliens showed up and they fought them off. And so, anyway, Borderlands sometimes have to be controlled, be policed themselves, I guess. Anyway, he winds up joining a team of other dudes, including Zeno Stokes, Robin Timbert, Boltz Dexter, Cyrus N. Kuga, Lyra Candy Harry, and Theodore Thompson, and Peck Desmond. Peck Desmond's a squirrel, by the way. Yeah. We can talk. He's also a Borderlander. That's a Borderlander. He's a squirrel. Yeah. And usually, it's the whole thing. They're basically cops for cryptids. Yep. And they really are the cryptids because they showed us like these like not the Yeti. Actually, I think the Yeti was listed, but there was also, and I forgot the name of the other one. The not Arctic Yeti.
Bigfoot?
Thank you. We've been over this. My brain will sometimes just not let me remember things. Bigfoot apparently is a Borderlander. So yeah.
So the first mission was, his old police chief it turns out to be a Borderland involved in some drug thing, and then the more drug thing, they had to go to a jungle, and the people who are refining it, and then they're finding out there's this big idol pop star guy, Rubber Suit. That's his name. Literally, they say Rubber Suit.
Yep.
That's his, and he's apparently a Borderlander too, and he's probably super involved in this whole thing, and he might be the big bad based on the end of episode 3.
Yep.
I don't know. The thing about this anime is like I don't know if it's trying to be serious or not.
That's a problem. It's like half the time it feels like it's trying to, and then it just goes kind of stupid.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's trying to be serious enough. And the thing is, it's not working.
It's not.
It's clearly like blatantly like several times making references to various action movies and whatnot. Like there's literally like a reference to Commando in it.
Like, or the third was it the third episode? The whole it's the crystal skull.
Yeah, it's like,
and then trying to get into a vault and the Resident Evil laser vault thing goes off. Like, yeah.
Let's see. The Brian is a bad cop who's recruited because he's a bad cop. Because this whole thing was he just got people in danger and he didn't play by the rules. Yeah, he's literally a bad cop. He's literally like definition of ACAB. And he's recruited because of that, so that's already kind of off-putting. Zeno, who's his like some gruff veteran who doesn't like him because of course. Let's see. Bolts is the bodybuilder guy. Robin is this former spy. They often fight with each other. Larry Candy Heart is a woman who he's the token woman.
The token woman who's also good with computers.
Oh yeah. Peck there also loves to jump in her boobs because reasons.
Because yeah.
Yep. Theodore Thompson is the old guy who recruits him, and he's the administrator and so on and so forth. Then
there's Cyrus, that's the lanky.
Yeah, Cyrus is the guy he's kind of very quiet and lanky and weird. Anyway, they didn't really get too much into some of the characters yet because I guess they're coming down later.
I think was there some sort of implication that the rest of them are actually Borderlanders too?
Yeah, there's some I don't know, maybe, but they say they're not. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know what they're trying to do there. But
yeah, during the
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's the
jungle scene. They had that.
Oh, well, they're like the Borderlands, but they also say they're not. They're human. So
yeah,
I don't know if they're just lying or what. Yeah, they've gone 3 different missions involving this drug thing and the Borderlanders and. I'm just not feeling it.
The aesthetics are kind of weird too. You have this like Sentai thing.
Yeah, there's a weird Sentai thing going on.
And they turn into their outfits, but they're like weird baggy construction suits, and they've got hard hats, and it's just like
they get special guns to fight Borderlanders because again, Borderlanders are hard to
because they're hard to kill, and it's just and there's other issues with like the third episode when they were going after Rubber Suit. They use the whole, they don't have, legal justification to barge in. They did the whole, we'll get it afterwards.
Yep. Yeah, bad cops.
And the weird one is, the bad cop they hired questioned it. And then everything was fine afterwards. They did it anyway. And it's like, oh, that's not great.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. It's like, I am not feeling it. This anime right here was actually stalled me on watching everything else because I was like, I have to finish this one first to get to the other stuff that I actually do want to watch.
Yep. I don't know. Sometimes the writing on it is it's just not.
It's really weird. It's kind of fast paced in a bad way. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's just kind of like sudden do things, shift. It's just it's
not fun.
It's not great. It's not fun. It's not great. I'm not
coming back to it.
No, I'm not keeping up with this one.
I would recommend, and it looks like from what I've seen, it is not being received very well.
Yeah, and there was a whole thing with like one of the promo arts too.
Yeah, there's a weird thing there because the promo art was them all naked,
which apparently got a lot of people to want to watch it, but has nothing to do with the actual show. Yep. Not recommended. Dropping it.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not great.
I just found it kind of just boring. So yeah, we're just gonna move on because that's the one of those things.
We're not sticking to this one.
We could move on because it's just dumb.
Yeah.
There's not really worth sticking around. But anyway, third one. This one is called World Die Star or Stella of the Theater World Die Star, depending on
how much of the title you want to include.
Yeah, depending on where some places are adding more of it. Anyway, it's about the theater.
Theater kids. Back to theater
Girls
kids.
in theater. Did we just do this?
Familiar.
Oh, not the same. Not really.
This isn't musical theater,
well,
although
that's
there
one
is
thing.
music
There's also
involved.
other things going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got Coconut. She is an aspiring actress who wants to join this particular troupe. Sirius. Right? Sirius. Yep.
Seriously.
Coconut Otori. She is being helped out with by her friend Shizuka to, refine her acting so she can get in. She meets, several people there, including Katharina, who is a German girl who is Katrina, I guess, who's a German girl who's a bit of a, let's say, diva.
Yeah.
Actually is good at what she does. She can back up, her talk.
Yep.
And she also meets, several people who are already part of the Sirius troupe, like Panda Yanagiba, or Chisa Sasuga.
And Yay
Nizuma. He's also 11 years old.
Yes.
But yeah. You also got, like the Shamo Yamabuki, who's the president and the whole thing and all this. So anyway, she does she gets in, more or less. But there's a whole thing called The Sense.
The Sense.
Which at first I thought was just, just kind of I guess your acting ability. But no, apparently it's an actual
supernatural-esque type
thing.
Type ability.
Yeah, like one of them is Panda is able to kind of hear more or less what the audience thinks.
Yeah, she can read minds, basically.
Yeah, the audience specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, Coconut gets in, and eventually, actually the first episode kind of drops a bomb, which is Shizuka's not real.
Shizuka's not real.
She was there the whole time, and it's one of those things. And if you look back, oh wow, it's actually
there's hints there the whole time.
There's hints, including like no one ever interacts with her. She never changes her clothes, and she never seems to have anything. She didn't actually audition, so why is she still hanging around?
Yeah, she traveled across the country with Coconut and doesn't bring any bags.
And it's something, and it's like, oh wow, and then eventually you get to a shot where she's just not there.
Yeah. They show Coconut walking away and two other people talking, and Coconut's talking to Shizuka, but there's no one there.
Yeah. And eventually it's like, it's a weird thing too, because later on she also acknowledges that Shizuka isn't real because someone asks her, she's talking to someone, she's no one. She's talking, it's like, so she knows.
Yep.
So that's the other thing was like, is she a ghost? Is she a figment of her imagination? What's going on here?
Yeah, that was, I still don't know the true answer to that.
Yeah, because there's a second twist.
Yeah.
Anyway, so first, Coconut isn't. They have a whole thing with the play. They have a put on a play for the new recruits, I guess.
Yep.
They did put on a play, and her Coconut, and everyone wants to be the main character. It's a thing about a maiden who has to return to the moon. I think it's a common story over in Japan and whatnot.
Yeah.
Katrina gets the main role because at first, Coconut starts to impress, but then she just mimics Yae.
Yae's performance.
Yeah. So she just mimics it identical. It's like, oh, that's gonna kill you. Right there.
You can't
Don't do
that. Like all the technical prowess in the world, but if you're just copying others, everyone's gonna know.
But anyway, she's more or less the secondary character now. They're doing the play, and Katrina's sense activates. But Katrina apparently is very sensitive to noises and whatnot. Because earlier when they were rehearsing, there was one of the electrical box was kind of malfunctioning, and it starts sparking, making noise again, and she just kind of freezes up on stage. Apparently this was a thing that she did before. She froze up on stage and embarrassed herself, and she's determined not to do that again. But it looks like it's happening again. And then that's when she had her sense active, and then starts to dull because of the noise, right? Because apparently the director person is like, that can happen.
Yeah, it said something about that her particular sense is vulnerable to the distractions, and that's what's happened. Yeah.
So Coconut, and then someone tells her about, only another actress can save an actor, or whatever actor can save an actor, right? So Coconut sense activates. Because the only one sense activates, their eyes start to glow. So when Coconut is only one eye glows, and then Shizuka has her eye glows too, and then Coconut starts acting to, it's one of those, she's ad-libbing to save the performance,
right?
And then they have to do this thing where it's like they're supposed to be, these props are supposed to move around, and they're supposed to, like, the people are supposed to take Katrina's character up to the moon or whatever. But the prop, because electrical problems, it won't move. So then Shizuka shows up dressed as one of the characters and also starts acting, and everyone's like,
Who the heck is this?
Who's that? Did she join? I don't remember her joining. And then turns out now Shizuka is real now.
Yeah.
And somehow the director is not surprised. Was like, what?
Yeah, so that's what your sense is.
So that's how this episode 3 ends. It's like, okay, I need to know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. On top of this, there's also a random Disney-esque musical number in episode 3, I think, too, with Coconut and Shizuka. So it's like,
yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know how to take that one, but I'm super curious.
I'm intrigued because, like, okay, what's going on with Shizuka here in particular? Because we were watching that first episode because at the time, that was like, or the first 2 episodes at the time, that was all that was left when we were watching them together. We're like seeing we're talking about, like, okay, Shizuka's not real and stuff, but like she's in the OP like she is, and now she is real. And it's like,
yeah, because I was like, okay, like you were mentioning, is she a ghost or is she imagination? Because I was like, what, did you make a tulpa? What's going on here? But then the musical number that happened, maybe sort of both. There's an interesting thing going on. I think they're sort of like what they did in Review Starlight, where the performance is sort of an allegory or thing to the actual what we're seeing. I think this is maybe another one. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Shizuka is like a former friend, and now, like, her spirit's been hanging around like a ghost, and now her sense is able to bring her back.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if she's...
but I don't know. They haven't explained that.
They haven't explained who she is yet. Just, yeah, who is this girl, and like all that stuff.
Who is this girl I see?
Who is she, and why? It's like, okay, she's real now. Again, that's like, is she a ghost? It's like she's a ghost. That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm super intrigued. The whole idea of the sense that shows up. Each one has their own unique power. Katarina's got gives her the ability to, like, hyper focus.
Yep,
and concentration and see everything, but it makes her vulnerable to certain distractions that fall out of that.
Coconut is somewhere in a second actor.
Yeah, and apparently Shizuka can just create another person.
Or Coconut can. Shizuka's
Coconut can.
The other thing is also because, of course, Katrina, they both kind of meet each other, kind of on the street, and they wind up going to the same place. And Katrina is very annoyed by this.
Quite annoyed by this.
Because, again, diva. And then, of course, what happens, they get there, and they wind up in the same room. Oh, my God, they were roommates.
Oh, my God, they were.
But congratulations, Katrina. You got 2 for the price of 1.
The 2-for-1 deal. Buy one, get one free.
So, yeah, that's one of those things that's like,
Yeah, I really want to know where it's going to go.
What is going on here?
I'm super curious.
I just know that apparently the next episode coming out tomorrow is recording.
Yes. So we'll have to figure out
I have to watch
what the heck's going on.
I am going to keep
Shizuka, she made her real, but is it permanent?
Yeah.
Is it going to stay that way?
Is she going to fade away or
just go back into Coconut's head?
Can she just come back out anytime now, or who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I'm definitely curious.
Yeah, I'm very much curious about this one, and apparently also, okay, it's based on a manga, which actually, I don't think it's based on a manga. I think it's a multiple thing. There's a manga running currently that started last month. The anime, and then this summer will be a mobile game.
One of those.
Yeah. But I forgot to mention the studios for our mall. Oshinoko is done by Doga Kobo, which several other things before, including Yuri. Let's see, Himoto Umaru-chan, New Game, Gabriel Dropout, Shikamori, Not a Cutie, RPG Real Estate. Every single time I see that, it's just okay. Marginal Service was done by 3 Hertz. Yeah, they Hertz, HZ. Let's see what. Princess Principal. Sword Art Online. Devil's a Part-Timer. All right. Princess Principal is I know that one. Co-animated Actus. Okay, that was. World Dai Star is
Lurch.
Lurche?
Lurche. They did Given.
Yeah. German for lark, by the way. They've done Danganronpa, Assassination Class, Monster Musume, School Live.
They've done a lot.
Magical Raising Project. That's one I've always wanted to watch, but I've heard weird things about that one. Oh, Kino's Journey. Sobe. Toilet Bound, Rumble, Garen. What is that? Wild Gray. Oh, I don't remember now. Okay. Classroom of the Elite. Stuff. Okay. So yeah, there's the anyway. I want to watch more of World Dai Star. I think it was one of the, even without the twist, I was kind of enjoying it well enough. I think I like the characters well enough.
Mm-hmm. They're all right.
It intrigues me enough that I kind of, it's not quite to the same degree as Review Starlight, but I like it well enough that, but now with that, of course, that whole, what the heck's going on with Shizuka and everything.
Yeah, that one dropped like, okay, I need to know.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I guess I'm going to definitely keep up with this one, I think. Yeah, World Dai Star.
World Dai Star. Seems pretty good. Seems interesting. I want to know where it goes. Hopefully it stays good.
Yep.
I mean, there's always room for it to flounder.
And yeah, for an anime, it's for something like this, very much a guarantee. Lots of undertones. All girl mobile game and everything. It's like, yep, probably a good chance of lots of undertones on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely gonna keep up with it. But moving on to, I guess, our fourth thing, trying to keep this all within a somewhat timely thing, considering how much time we spent to Oshinoko. The last one, the one I picked, Watashi no Yuri wa Oshigoto desu. Yuri is my job.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I picked. Not surprised. It's, hey, look, we're more Yuri this year.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, again, we're getting like a Yuri anime, at least one per season this year, which is wild to think about. That doesn't happen very often. But anyway, you got Shiraki Hime. She's a high school girl who, her whole goal in life is basically she's going to be real super cute, and then she's going to hook up a rich guy and be set for life. That's her plan. Doesn't matter, she's willing to be super fake and dishonest to do so too. She doesn't like most people get too close to her, so yeah, she's always kind of just the cutesy. Everyone loves her and all that stuff. She's just very fake, so everyone loves her and all that. Anyway, she runs into a couple of girls. Which one does she actually literally run into? Mai Koshiba. She runs into her literally, and she gets guilted into, helping her. She supposedly broke her arm or something.
Right.
Although it looks like that's a bunch of bull to get this girl to work at the cafe that she runs. Because she just starts doing the thing in public, like, oh, my arm. It's like, oh crap. That thing.
Yep.
Oh, crap. So she gets railroaded into working at this cafe. And no, it's not a maid cafe. It's, let's see, I can't remember. It's German. Liebe?
Which is life, but.
Yeah. It means love.
Yeah, Liebe.
That's how it's said. It's a whole thing. Liebe Girls Academy is the cafe of sorts. What it is, it's not a maid cafe. It's where the maids, I guess, the waitresses, pretend to be high school girls. Well, they are high school girls. They pretend to be in schoolgirls in a Class S Yuri. Which, if you remember, that's like Starlight Panic from way back when. Basically, it's a Catholic school. And the girls, there's the sisterhoods, and the girls it's all girls' schools, and there's very much a lot of blatant, like, romantic stuff, and sometimes it's just subtext or the good old, guess what, when we're out of high school, ain't gonna do that anymore. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, the Class S. That's the theme of the cafe. Anyway, she's sucked into this, and also there's another girl, Sumika Chibana, who's actually a Gyaru, but, she's all very much in the sense of the cafe. She's very much like the studious third year, essentially. And there's another girl at the cafe, Mitsuki Ayano Koiji. She's very tall and very pretty, and she hates Hime. Because Hime initially kind of starts screwing up a lot, which is not surprising considering, they gave her like zero direction when they just railroaded her into this. They gave her no direction, so she screwed up a couple times, and she's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, no one told me what to do. Because she does the whole One-sama or whatever. And like, no, you don't do that. That's that guy, the very special significance in our little setting here. Well, no one told me this. But nope, it doesn't matter. Anyway, they find it's just do it. She's going to be declared officially sisters, right? They're going to do that because why not? Why not?
Yeah.
It works well with the story or whatever they're doing. So that's a big chunk of it. It's like, yeah, Mitsuki Ayano Koji hates Hime, or she's playing Shirasagi Hime, not Shiraki Hime.
Yeah. Just change the name slightly to make.
Yeah, there's noticing that the manager seems to change their names just slightly, just so that just a little bit, just so they're
just so the teacher doesn't know you copied it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. That's her thing, is her just kind of struggling. Struggling to be a waitress at this cafe because, kind of still learning the ropes, struggling with, taking orders. Sometimes has a hard time keeping up. She kind of uses that, just like weaponizes her whole, I'm the first year and I'm super cute and stuff. Could you please do it slowly? I'm just still new to this. And she weaponizes that to get away with it. It's like, it works too. But she also she has a friend at school named Kanoko Mamiya who follows her because they have the whole, like, don't tell your friends about this. You don't want your friends showing up and ruining the illusion because they're,
it breaks the acting, yeah.
So but Kanoko follows her and because she's a little worried about her and clearly has a thing for Hime. Because it's Kanoko seems to be like her Hime's actual only actual friend at this point.
Who actually knows about her whole thing.
And eventually she winds up joining the cafe because at first she's like all freaked out because Hime, she follows her and then it's like Hime's trying to pretend she doesn't know her and Kanoko's just flipping out.
Like, how do you not know me?
And it's like, okay, a scene's being made. We need to fix this now.
Also, doesn't help that Kanoko is super shy too.
Yeah, but that again works in her favor when eventually she joins the cafe and says, "Oh no, she's all shy and reserved. Oh, she's so cute."
Yeah.
So that works in her favor, and yeah, she winds up joining him because, she wants to keep an eye on Hime because I think she's wants to stake her claim.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's kind of seen things, but then also there was a thing in episode 3, which is like there was a bit of a flashback where Hime way back when she was younger in like elementary school, like she got just caught for her whole fakeness. Like another girl's like, "Hey, she's fake. Don't listen to anything she says." And that kind of a lot of people dislike her, and yeah, it's like she doesn't want that to ever happen again. And it's like I saw that girl, I was like, she looks familiar. Are they actually only for she's just kind of because like Hime's like her name was Mitsuki Yano, which is the other girl at the cafe who hates her. Turns out there's another reason for the hatred other than you're just a screw up. Apparently they had something happen because this girl was like calling her out for being fake. Something happened, and now it's like, she remembers, Hime did not.
Yep.
And that's how it ends, is that big reveal of, we knew each other already. Because there's the other thing was that Hime was trying to convince Kanoko that, it's all fake, don't worry about it. It's, because, that whole thing, I'm being fake so to get her to like me and then accidentally tells that to Yano. And Yano's at first, like, Yano's just, like, not really responding to that, that whole initially, like, didn't seem to affect her at all until it's like, there's the big reveal.
That's why it didn't affect her. She already knew.
And she hates you.
This is not new information. She already
Because the thing, Hime was starting to say the girl's name, and it's like, she says it at the same time. So, what?
Wait, how did you know?
And then it just shows her ID, which has the name. It's like, you're the same.
It's you.
That's awkward. But yeah, so that's the big thing at the end of episode 3, the big twist, which is, there's already animosity there. Because they knew each other. So anyway, it's Yuri. The characters are nice. I really like the characters are actually kind of fun. Particularly, Yano, because there's a couple times Yano seems to soften up a little bit, but then immediately kind of goes right back to being hard on Hime. And that's the thing. She's often unfairly hard, too. Was the other thing. Was like, sometimes Hime actually does it right, but it's like, with others, like, why don't you praise her for doing it right? You only yell at her for doing things wrong.
Because she hates her and knows that she's
they don't know that. But it's like everyone else has also apparently like this. They've like, I know, like apparently Chibana there kind of looks like she clocked that Hime's also fake. Also clocked like Hime's fake. Probably the manager too. They all know. It's like you ain't as slick as you think you are. Anyway, I want to watch it. I'm gonna keep watching. Because I am.
Yeah, this one was an interesting one. I didn't like Hime. I don't like.
She's not.
I didn't.
Exactly
that was a tough one for me. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. I can't say there's anything bad with it, but I was having some issues, really catching this one just because when you aren't a fan of the main character, like it makes it tough. However, I do see that there's a lot of ways that this could go, especially with the things that are happening in the third episode, that would definitely improve it for me personally. There's some ways that I kind of like to see it go.
Yeah. I mean, Hime is like, for one thing, Hime is definitely becoming more aware of her crap, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like this character, she's a manipulator who uses her cuteness to her advantage. She's kind of a jerk, really. And then we get this whole, when she had the flashback to how she doesn't want to get hurt by people saying stuff. And it's just, this whole thing, bad people will tell on me. It's like, girl, you are the bad person. Like, you are the one causing the problems.
Well,
you are a fake. You're
I can see why
people.
the whole fake thing is just because she doesn't want to get hurt. I've seen people
right,
do that.
I get it. But also, yeah. But also the rest of them are kind of a jerk to her too. Just throwing her under the bus like that. Just tossing her into the cafe and expecting her to do well. And then, yeah, it's like,
yeah, and also the manager faking an injury, probably.
The manager, you want to talk manipulator, she's probably worse than Hime when it comes to doing that. Which is why they, like you said, they probably already know that she has that facade that she's doing. Because they, especially the manager, knows it quite well. Yeah. They're very good at it themselves. But I could also see where this could go. Like, you can use that as we start out, but then you have a redemption thing, or they learn and they get better. You could also use that to go from redemption to a enemies to lovers story.
Yep.
Which I could definitely see happening, but then you'd also have the classic childhood. Well, it's not really a childhood friend because Kanako came in later.
Yeah, later, because she doesn't know about Yano.
Yeah. But it will get to that, contention between, if they wanted to do the enemies to lovers with Ayano, then you'd have that whole three-way contention story that is rather common.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see ways it would go that would definitely be pretty good. It's not bad, but it's like when I don't like the main character. But she could definitely get better.
Yeah.
And there's ways that she it looks like they're going towards. I might keep up with it, but I think I'll let you keep up with it and tell me if I should.
I'm definitely gonna watch it because, well, it's another Yuri.
Yeah, I mean that part's great.
We are getting
that
spoiled
part. That
Yuri.
Is great, but it is particular execution.
I've heard something about the manga right now, because the manga started in 2017, is ongoing right now. Apparently, something's happened in the manga a lot of people are not super happy about. So I'm not sure if it's this the one of those. There's actually something wrong, or if this is the wrong pairing.
Oh, one of those things.
Yeah.
That's not my OTP. This is bad.
I have no idea. But this one is being done by the studio Passion and Studio Lings. It looks like Studio Lings is brand new because they've worked on literally two things, according to this, and something called Tachibana Banakan Triangle.
Interesting.
But yeah, Passion, let's see. Things they have worked on: Rail Wars, Citrus, High School DxD Hero, Wasteful Days of High School Girls, which I've watched that one, Interspecies Reviews.
Oh no.
Higurashi When They Cry.
Oh boy.
Maruku-chan. Worked on several notable things the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and it's funny. I just find it funny also that the Yano there looks a lot like Yuri from Doki Doki Literature Club.
Don't give her a knife.
The tall purple hair.
Yeah, so I know who your favorite character is.
But I just also like that she's able to do her job as doing the waitress thing, but also she's very good at the whole acting thing. She's totally fine with Hime, but then anger.
That is one thing. All of them have very different personalities in the cafe as opposed to out of the cafe.
They're acting.
Because yes, acting. That's a thing that people do.
Okay, Brandon actually been running since 2016. Yeah, the manga's been running since 2016. The first volume released in 2017 because they have to have enough come out to actually release a volume.
Right.
And apparently it only started coming out in English in 2019. January 2019, so that's been a while. And let's see. The last release was volume 10 in English, and they've released volume 12. Well, we'll be releasing volume 12 in Japanese in about a couple weeks. So, boy. Anyway, also episode 4 is already out, so definitely going to watch that one too, because need to. So, let's see. Oshinoko, yes. Marginal Service, no. World Die Star, yes. And Yuri's My Job, yes. That's me.
I'm yes, no, probably, and possibly.
Oh, so 3 or 4 out of 4 isn't bad.
Yeah, 3 or 4. We got.
You got one dud.
Yeah, we got one real dud out of this.
Yeah, it's just one. I saw that come up. I was like, "Isn't this the one that's?" Oh yeah, it's that one.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah. The rest of them, I'm very happy with the picks. I did not know about World Die Star until I was like, "Oh, this might be interesting." Yeah, it turns out it is. There's got a couple other anime I'm gonna go ahead and watch too. I think this season, because there's some I was just waiting on. After this episode, before I started watching stuff, didn't want to go. What was that again?
There was also a couple shows this season that I'm glad we didn't get.
Oh yeah, didn't get the isekai incest anime.
We didn't get that one, fortunately.
Whew, dodge that bullet.
Yep.
Oh, who knows? It might have been fun to make fun of. Who knows? But anyway,
I don't know.
So we're already running long, so we'll go ahead and just get this all wrapped up. If you did enjoy this, you could go check out other episodes on newtoweeboo.libsyn.com. That's spelled LIBSYN. Go subscribe to the RSS feed there, and you could also subscribe to us via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Podcasts. Find us, search for New to Weeaboo there, and subscribe to any of those services if you like. Yeah, you can also email us if you like to get in contact, newtoweeboo@gmail.com if you have questions or anime recommendations or whatever. And of course, we're at our Twitter @newtoweeboo, and that's where we are for now. We'll, jump ship when we have to.
Watch it burn around us.
Yeah, we'll just keep watching it burn until,
We'll play our instruments as it sinks.
Yep. And of course, our personal Twitters, I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's at Alcatraz and 717 _ at the end. Follow him for Teto. Follow me for Transformers.
Teto
Transformer doesn't exist yet, but it should.
That would be cool.
Turns
Is there a
into-
Miku Transformer? I know there's like frame arms and Mikus and such, but
I think there's kind of one. It's not a Transformer, but there's a Transformer Miku thing. I think it was turned into like some weird.
yeah,
like,
I remember that. That
yeah,
was actually that came up pretty
scooter thing or
recently.
something.
Yeah, because they did a collab with and it transforms between a Miku. Yeah,
What would Teto transform into?
bread,
Drill
a
tank.
baguette,
Drill tank.
drill tank, or baguette.
We need something that's not just bread.
Yeah, but
So you
that's
can come with a bread
thing.
accessory.
Yeah.
You can use it as a club.
The bread is to Teto what a green onion is to Miku.
Hey, you wouldn't transform into
No.
bread. You should have a bread accessary she can hold in her hand.
A drill tank, yeah. That would be an interesting one.
Drill tank. Get her hair turned into the drills or something. Who knows?
Something, I don't know. I
Or
don't know.
the drill unfurl into wings for a jet or something. I don't know. Anyway, off topic. Okay, so next time will actually be a bit of a delay because gotta take a break. This is a small break, no big deal. We'll be back before the end of the month. Which should be actually the 31st, actually the very end of the month. We'll be back. Just need a break. Some stuff's going on. And we'll be talking about Princess Principal Crown Handler Chapter 2, the second movie, because the third movie just came out in theaters in Japan.
Yep, we're coming back to Princess Principal.
I haven't watched that in a bit.
Yep.
So we'll see. So, once again, longer break than usual, but we'll be back and everything, and hope you enjoy tuning in then. And, enjoy your month. Enjoy your new anime. I'm going to be watching a bunch of new anime.
A lot of
And enjoy the warmer weather.
At least for those of us that are getting it.
In the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. So, goodbye.
Bye.